Hello. Welcome to Tech Ascent, the podcast where we dive into the trends, strategies, and success stories that are reshaping the tech landscape as we know it today. I'm your host, Oliver Clingain. I'm also the founder of Ascension, the premier biz development partner within tech. Today, we've got a great guest joining us, joined by Baptiste Jourdan, the co-founder and chief revenue officer of Toucan. Baptiste, welcome to the show.
Yes, thank you very much, Oliver. Welcome.
It's great to have you on. It's great to meet you as well. Would you mind telling the audience a little bit about yourself so they could get to know you?
Yeah, so I'm the co-founder of Toucan, a former French company, but now in US, with a US based in Boston, and we are dealing in I would say, embedded analytics market. So we have a platform that is used by a product manager or CPO or CTOs in order to, I would say, to improve and to go faster for their roadmap to insight with the white label integration of Toucan into their own software or portal. And we are really happy to be with you, Oliver, and to speak about tech today.
Yeah, very cool. Sounds like you've got a nice little background. And being the co-founder, what made you want to kick this company off?
It's been 10 years now that we have founded Toucan, so it's been a long run today.
Mm,
But when we started Toucan, we were just before Toucan, I was CRO of another company, and I was using a traditional business intelligence tool, as you may know, as ClickView or Power BI.
mm,
And I was the manager of a huge team of salespeople, and I was spending too much time on data because I wanted to be sure that the analytics is good for them to understand. And at the end, I realized that I was spending too much time on analytics because I wanted to be sure that they get the good insight at the right time, but not anymore. The good time of my person was managing people, being
mm,
with them, training them, helping them to close deal. So I realized that analytics landscape software are really too much complicated for end users, business users. So I was with this pain in my head, and I met Charles, my co-founder, and David, the other one, and they were working on something around BI. And so we decided to work together with the same vision, which was to create the best experience with data and the most simple way to do so. And so we created Toucan based on these two tagline and this vision about the mission of Toucan, which is a full no-code system, could be used by anyone, and with a huge rate of adoption because it's really simple to use.
mm.
And
Very
so
nice.
this is where we started.
Yeah, very nice, very nice. And I find the best tech companies, they always stem from a solution created that came from a real problem. And it sounds like
Yeah, of
being
course.
a CRO, like you said, spend too much time on data analytics. You needed a tool to solve that problem, so you built
Yeah,
it
but
yourself.
take another example. I would say that most of 70% of the good CRO of the world are using Salesforce. But when it comes to use the reporting part of Salesforce, it's quite a mess. So if you are well funded, you could ask one or two revenue ops people to work on the report for you. But even at the end, what you're going to do in order to showcase your data targets or even accomplishment with the board, you will be back to something that is a screenshot of your reports of Salesforce, being back on a slide, and then showcasing your slide to the board. With
Mm,
Toucan, you don't have to do that anymore because it's really, you put the data from Salesforce into Toucan, and then if you want to display it on a PDF slides or even on a web app on a mobile of your board member, you could do that. And this is where the simplicity, really help a guy like me with many people to manage and many data to manage. But then at my fingertip on my mobile, in less than 3 clicks, I have any answer of my business.
mm. Makes it easy. Makes it easy. And
Exactly.
Baptiste, you mentioned that when you're a CRO, you're spending too much time in data analytics when your strengths were in managing sales teams, managing people. Through that experience, what sort of strategies did you roll out to manage big sales teams and kind of keep people motivated, keep people on top of things?
Yeah, I would say so. Not to get another time about what we do, but analytics is the key, but for being sure that you get the good analytics, and the capacity to control everything about your business, meaning your teams, you really need to have good processes. So of course, I would say as an advice to any sales guy or becoming a sales manager, ask yourself about, is your process clear about your sales process, of course, and everything about your client, review process, because if it's not clear, it won't be clear with data. So the process, meaning, the difference, if we take as an example the sales process, all of the criteria that help you to qualify what is a good opportunity, what is not a good opportunity, and when it comes that it is a good opportunity, where is the opportunity in your pipeline? It's really a matter about the good criteria, the good process, and this is the first thing that could help you as a manager to directly, with a good reporting tool, to get, if it's just a subjective view about your sales guy telling you that he's going to close, or if it's really the reality, meaning that this deal going to close. And so first thing is process. Second thing is capacity of looking at your process and control your process with analytics and data, I would say. And then when you have done that, it's easy to have more time and to dedicate more time to accompany your team and to be with them, to train them, to help them to improve.
Hmm. Nice, nice. And how long before starting this company were you a CRO? How long were you in the sales space?
Uh, uh, I'm a sales guy since I was born. I think I come
Hmm.
from a countryside in France where my family are entrepreneurs. And so as soon as I get my first 10 years old, I was on a daily market selling stuff to people.
Hmm.
So I would say from the beginning. But as an entrepreneur, when we started Toucan, I was the first salesman. And really, I would say the first 5 years, we were totally bootstrapped. So, not funded. And we realized to manage the target of 5 million euros turnover as a, annual recurring revenue. So, so cool. And we realized that. And in these 5 years, I started alone. And in 5 years, we were 20 people around the sales team. And then we raised money with Balderton Capital, based in London, 10 millions as a Series A, and we opened the US market, and then we multiply by 3 the number of people in the sales machine.
Yeah,
And
nice.
so I would say that from the beginning, when you are the first sales, you start by without any process. As an entrepreneur, you just sell. But then as soon as you grow, and especially when you raise money, you have to grow fast. So anticipating your problem is really important. And by saying so, I would say that it's really important to being sure where you want to be at the year after, the month after, the quarter after, and in order to anticipate first the recruitment, second being sure that people are really on board. If you work really well about your onboarding, you're gonna be efficient, and then this is everything of that is based on the process. If your system is clear, your process is clear, people will understand, people will be on board more fastly, and then you're going to deliver more fastly.
Hmm. Nice, nice. And you mentioned there you're breaking into the US market. What was the driving factor behind that? Was that just the next stage of
Yeah,
evolution as the CRO?
yeah.
The big fish?
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Catch the big fish. I would
Hmm.
say in the European market, because we were French-based, but we were doing business in the Northern Europe countries with big companies. Huh? We are working with the biggest bank in Europe as BNP Paribas, or even Crédit Agricole, or we are even working with car automotive player like Renault, Nissan, or Stellantis, and they are worldwide groups. So we already had at the beginning
Hmm.
international group. But then in 2020, we catch our first full US company in front of a competitor called Tableau Software. And it was the first moment that I realized that I was able to sell and to be recognized into this market. So we started directly to go on this market and say, okay, we have money from the raising, so we want to continue on this market and to test if we can manage to get into this market. So first client first from the Europe directly, and then I organized a few run trip with me and my partner, and then my partner settled himself in Boston. I'm based in Paris, but I do a run trip really, really often.
Yeah, lot of long trips, a lot of long flights, but it sounds like it's worth it. Sounds like you built a strong foundation in the U.S. market. But now that you're an international CRO, what differences have kind of arose from breaking into the market? What challenges are you facing right now breaking into the U.S.?
So it's been close to 5 years that we are in the US right now. And we're starting Toucan at an international level. I would say in 2017, 2018, so 2 or 3 years before.
Hmm.
What I realized is, what I was thinking before was there is directly, huge cultural gap between different country. If you are a French guy and you want to sell in UK, it's not the same as you sell in France. And then it's very true if you do this from France to US market.
Hmm.
I would say the culture is not the same about business, definitely not the same. But still, what is very important, don't change your process. I'm
Mm-hmm.
really a process man, obsessed. But I would say that the first advice I received from my board, my new board member when we raised money was US is not the same as France. And I was thinking, okay, we need to reshape everything about the process. So I started to hire people, and then I realized that it was exactly what I was thinking of, meaning it's not the same culture in terms of management and people. But I was thinking that maybe the process could be different, but it's not. It's really not. So what I learned, I would say, is if you start, if you create your company and you are quite successful on your market, whatever the market is, based on good processes and a good market fit, and if your market fit could go internationally, just reinforce your process, but don't change them.
Mm-hmm.
After, put a little part of cultural changes, but more about people, but not about processes. And it's really the biggest learning I had by opening the US market. So firstly, we made it was I would say the first error we made in US market to hire a VP sales and to let him arrange everything around sales. And I was managing this guy, but still I gave 100% in autonomy, but it was not the good choice. So then we started to implement the same exactly process that we have in France in US, and he hired people based on this process, and it started to work.
Mm-hmm. Easy
So
enough.
yeah, this is a good learning from an entrepreneur side.
Mm-hmm. For sure, no doubt, no doubt. It sounds like obviously the process is the foundation. You can make the small adaptations to get where you want to be, but ultimately, once you've got your path laid out, you want to stick to it.
Yeah,
And
exactly.
Baptiste, you obviously have been in business with Toucan for close to a decade now, a little over. There's been a lot of changes, especially in the data analytics space, big influx of talks of artificial intelligence. How has that kind of impacted how you guys operate? Has it made the landscape more challenging, easier? What trends are you seeing?
I would say that it's quite well, the data and analytics market. I think that the total addressable market is more than 350 billions. And the number of competitors 10 years before was EV, but I think it has tripled in less than 3 years. So it's
Mm-hmm.
really crowded market. And I can give you this example. I think every 2 months there is a new embedded software for analytics coming from the Y Combinator.
Mm-hmm.
So it's really a highly competitive market. And don't forget that we are, I would say, business going well, but we are still a really small fish into this big credit market because we are competing against Looker, against Sisense, against Microsoft Power BI, and so there are really big fish into this market.
Mm-hmm.
But so I would say, hey, I broke into this market, and this is bringing new opportunities for companies as us. And I would say that we have the same tool. We have the same, AI, LLM, and we can get, everyone could have an access to the same, I would say, power. But what is making the difference is your velocity in terms of product to implement AI into your product or to be ready to be used by AI. So there is different strategy around that. For example, a company really well known in US is ThoughtSpot in the analytics sector. And from the beginning, I think it's been more than 15 years that they are in this market, they were selling the fact that you can just write what you want to see, and then the graph was showcasing you the good data. Okay, so it's text to data visualization. But it was based on a data cataloging system. I think you do understand is that you need to have your data ready and really well categorized in order that when you are speaking to the machine transform that into SQL and then bringing you the good graph. And now, they are doing this with AI, but I can do the same because it's really easy to implement an AI system, just transforming from, text to SQL request and then make a peer visualization. So in that case, I am now a new competitor to them. And before I was not able to do that.
Mm-hmm.
And I am even at the good level of, experience and even better than them because my system is one of our main USP, unique selling point, is the sexiness of our dashboard. And so, no, I can compete with them. So you can imagine that they have 15 years more of dedication of their R&D to this, and now I can compete with them with a few guys in my team in developer to do this proof of concept or even able to do this project. So it's definitely changing the competitive area between people. And then, so it's your capacity to really, I would say, test, implement, and the velocity you do have to release.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of my competitors are making a lot around AI, but still, I see a lot of features coming from this as just nice to have. So it's just, I would say, advertising purposes,
Mm-hmm.
marketing purposes. Because from the beginning, we are really, curious about what we can do and what we can achieve, but still, it's not. I would say it won't be with the features because a lot of new AI system will come, LLM will come, will be more powerful, and then everything could be done by the LLM. But what could be a good way of looking at it? As all the AI agent tomorrow will need to showcase graphics or data visualization. If you make your system ready to be read by the AI, then you could be implemented by the AI system. And I think this is more against it's called MCP, MCP language. So if your code in your platform is really clear and could be read by AI, then you can provide to a big group who has already a big AI, project or AI centralization, etc. New capacity to deploy dashboard really easily by using you.
Mm-hmm.
And so you can be a good complement to AI. So I would say with Toucan, what we've done is that we've really worked to open our system with the LLM and with all of the AI project of our end client. And like this, when you implement Toucan or when you do have Toucan, you could even deploy very much more faster because you can base your LLM with Toucan and you can link them together. So this is more or less, I would say, part of the strategy we do have. And of course, we are implementing AI, but still, I'm not sure this is the good strategy path, but it's one. This is the one we chose, and this is the way that we see where we can bring value to our customers.
Yeah, very nice, very nice. And Baptiste, last question for you. Talked quite a bit about your experiences and what you guys are building with Toucan, but looking forward, what's on the horizon? What's the mission? What's the goals right now?
The goal is to continue to create value for our customers. And I would say that the end goal for a company like us is really to always bring more to our customers and being, really considered as a partner. Maybe it's because we are much more smaller than the big BI tools as Microsoft or Google and others. But the capacity you do have to be close to your client as a partner and not only as a supplier bring us new opportunity to always innovate on our product. And so the target goal is to continue to sell something valuable, something with a return on investment for our customers, and help them to transform the way they deploy analytics to their members, customers, people around data. And big target would be to continue to be recognized in the Gartner quadrant and G2 Crowd quadrant as a leader. And for a little French as I can be, being recognized with my company as leaders around, and even better than Power BI, Sisense, and others is quite a pass and quite a success today. So being in this quadrant in 10 years, continue to deliver value to our customers is really what we want to achieve. And I really think that that could be done even with partnership with others. So partnership with LLM system or AI could be a good opportunity for us.
Nice. Yeah, it sounds like over the last 10 years, you guys have laid a great foundation to continue growing, and obviously big influx of AI, stuff like that, changing the landscape, but it sounds like you guys are holding strong. So, Baptiste, that's all I've got for you today. Really appreciate you coming on the show, but I'll be sure to tag your LinkedIn and Toucan's website. But is there anywhere else you'd like people to connect with you on, or are those the main two?
Any people from your podcast who could be interesting to visit Paris, as I am based in Paris and Boston, they could, if they are a US guy and they're coming to Paris, they could just reach me on my LinkedIn. I will give them the best tips we have in this amazing city. And then I am based in Boston too, so as soon as I get in Boston, we could have and grab a coffee. So this is the best way. People buy from people and people learn from people. So I'm here for that.
Sounds good. No, I love it. And for everybody listening, thank you for tuning in. I'll be sure to tag everything down in the description we mentioned today. But Baptiste, thank you once again for coming on.
Yeah, thank you, Oliver. Thank you.
Been a pleasure.